maintain your dominance. All these pieces will come in. You can get pawns involved as well. At some point that pawn does get chopped off by something. And if you do end up with an open file this way, you can always come in that way as well. Remember that. There are games where I've actually given up a pawn on purpose to try and get a rook back in on the b file. But by that point you've got something wrong. If you're needing to do that, you've got something wrong in the attack. So thankfully I'll look stupid once. But importantly, don't take here if the queen's on the back row and the king can escape. Here we need to limit the escape, meaning he can't escape. We're in control, we're dominating. We're either forcing him to lose a major piece, or we're forcing him more into that corner again, aren't we? And then we're going to continue the onslaught, the absolute onslaught of more pieces coming in. Okay? Fantastic. So this particular game, we got pawns moving instead. This is a rarity. These are games that don't happen very often. This was played 2 weeks ago, but it's in here. And you'll find the same maneuver, queen b5, queen a4. He castles long. And he probably didn't think he had time. Probably thought this was an okay or a safe move. I don't really know why he castled long. The whole point of me including this game, because that's a terrible move, isn't it? But realistically, how long is it going to take to get stuff sorted? And how uncomfortable do you think black feels in this position? The Petrov player was hoping for a steady game with a draw, with nice equal position. That's why people play the Petrov. This is now all of a sudden pretty terrifying. White looks safe and cozy. Black just wants to get castled. But he can't castle that way. He can only castle this way. And I'm not sure what his plans involve if I do just take that pawn. That looks incredibly dangerous. So that happened. And by this point people regret the decisions in the Petrov. Yeah, the queen b5, queen a4 maneuver allows... Oh look, I found the correct move in this game. And now we bring the other bishop in. I think that was a mistake. Was one of these a mistake? The computer likes to tell me I made a mistake somewhere here. There would have been an ever so slightly more accurate way to completely crush my opponent than queen takes pawn. Knight takes e5 first, apparently. But by all means, I wouldn't want to give him any time to even think about tactics or nothing. Or no. Why are you inviting counterplay with a human being? From a winning position, if many roads lead to Rome, pick the most straight and narrow and easy for you personally, to be able to navigate. And dominate this corner. If you need to, you can use that diagonal with your light squared bishop. By the time that they've taken your knight, that becomes a real avenue of attack. And it's strange to get this c6 move in. No one's finding c5 in the other position either. It's just not happening. And yeah, mate in 4. Because he's just too tied up, there's nothing he can do about it. That's unstoppable. So he just has to start giving it the old give up pieces. Yeah, sadly, it's just not good enough. That's still pinned. For those of you that are thinking, why didn't he take the queen? That's still pinned. But there you go. Always, if the rook's still pinned, naturally, don't back rank and lose your queen. See the idea? That's still pinned. Always finish like that if you can. It just feels good. Right, we'll get rid of that one. We'll get rid of the NM1. We'll get rid of this Italian FM1. Did we see how this finished? This finished with the back rank mate. With the amazing knight c6. Now, I did a lecture on this yesterday, so I'm not going to this one particular game. And why bishop takes here is the move, and it has to be the move. And it's the only move in the position that works, because if queen takes, unlucky, that won't work. That's pinned. So, this is why it all works. Now, there was a more accurate way of doing this. And here, I should have played queen here, not allowing that tactic. But I did like my tactic if he took. We never discussed what would happen if he just moved, did we? Or did we? Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, yeah, this is the position we discussed. Yeah, brilliant. So, we carry on from here. And the game got juicy from here. I'm still winning. And I like this move a lot. Can he take? Can he take that? Is that possible? Or does that lose on the spot as well? This is why this position's so rich. If you're happy finding moves like this, and you can find moves like this, play this position. If you've struggled to find knight c6, if you've struggled to find this move, if you've struggled to hang a knight here on purpose, and know it's all winning, then this position's not for you. The Petrov as black is typically for you, but then you'll meet someone like me who does this to you and your head explodes. So you need to be able to navigate these sorts of chaotic positions ideally. That's hanging with check. And he should give up the queen here naturally, because that knight is just too powerful. Look at the squares my queen's controlling. Yeah? Look at the squares my knight is going to be controlling. He instinctively should go that way, but instinctively won't, will he? Instinctively, the king's on a mission, he's trying to run away. So he goes here, and it's white to move and mate in 1, with 6 seconds on the clock. The back rank mate created by the knight. Absolutely beautiful. I submitted that for Lichess Game of the Month in January. For those that don't know, you need to go on YouTube, right? And if you put in the Lichess community, every month they do a competition. For those that are here that weren't here yesterday. Leech Guess. So if you click on the community tab, you'll have a chance to enter your game of the month, and at some point someone will announce the winner. I think they're a bit late on this month, or I've missed where they're posting it. And the idea is a blog comes out and your game gets shared and someone analyses it, and it'll be on the Lichess homepage. So I think this is either something they've wrapped on and they're not doing properly, or something that will become a thing. But while the odds are small, and you've got a good chance of getting your game picked, if you've got a brilliant game that wants reviewing by a master, I'd send it in and see what happens. You never know. It might impress an employer or something one day, if you're not already titled, for example. Which I'm sure does. Okay. For those who are in Diana's channel that want to compare my Rosen score, stalemate tricks. Stalemate is a big part of my game. You need to be able to stalemate people. If you haven't got stalemate tricks, I don't know what you're doing when you're losing. You've got to be able to play for something when you're losing, and stalemate tricks is one of them. Right. We'll get rid of the FM game here. We've got 2 more. We've got tonight. I'll play them again tonight, Brock alone. That'll be tonight and the final game that I'll show in this lecture. But this one we've got the first castle short. The first castle short variation. And I'll leave the computer off for a while as I go through this. So we enter the infamous position that we want. Alright, but this time our plans are starting to change a little bit. There'll be none of this business going on because the king's not over here. So we actually need to change our plan entirely in what we want to do. Now we need to maintain our solid, well-known, happy, warm, fuzzy feeling position that we like so much, and then just start firing things towards this badger instead. Yeah. Also, the only thing you've really got to be wary about in this position where black can get tactics on you is on the dark squares currently while your king is here. As long as you've got a dark square bishop guarding this diagonal, there are no real immediate tactics. There's nothing else that can come out and cause any problems yet. This is a typical idea from the black pieces player, and in many variations I allow it. There are plenty where you can't, or playing king b1 is always a must. For those of you that like Ben Feingold, you'll remember king b1 is a favourite of everyone. But if you come up with ideas that mean that you're 2 or 3 10p away from checkmate, you can usually allow this, and if you do check, if you've got a way of stepping away, and let's say for example there's a rook threatening the queen and you've got a mate threat, they're going to have to give up the queen, and people don't calculate that stuff. So we see the plan straight away. I haven't got enough going on around this king at the moment to allow him to take that pawn, so I've got to play king b1. Right. Knight g5 is a fantastic place for my knight. I'm not into the idea of trading pieces and opening up counterplay for my enemy. Not whatsoever. I am in the idea of doing this. If he wants to weaken his king and start provoking, happy with that, go ahead. If you want to eat this, I'm going to be taking this way, naturally, because I've got an open file. So attacking ideas in general. He's still trying to free up his pieces and just start applying pressure to my corner. At the same time, he's hemmed his queen in from the defence of anything going on over there. So I'm going to start continuing to point pieces in and around this area. Okay. Do I really care about that? Do I need that? Probably not. Because if that comes and that comes, how are you stopping that? Or how are you stopping that? Or how are you stopping that? Etc, etc. Also, you've got this manoeuvre. Don't forget that manoeuvre. Yeah? So, people are always afraid of him running away. You can actually pin him back in. While this knight's still here, he's not going anywhere. But if he does manage to get there, don't forget the check back on this square to stop him running in that direction. It'll force him back into this corner, or the pawn to come down and weaken the position further. So, in anticipation of that, he goes there. Now I'm thinking, does that really help? Or does that invite me to play something else as well? And I'm not sure if I just play this wrong. Naturally. I'm not sure if I just play this here and hope for the best. But I don't want to do hope chess. I want to be able to calculate. And in this particular position, Queen G6 does work, but if you look, it's not completely winning. It's almost drawn, or it is drawn. And if you've started calculating and you can only see a draw, if you're happy with a draw, take it. But if you commit to a draw line, you might lose the win. Allow yourself to think a bit deeper or wait for the position to evolve ever so slightly before you commit to stuff like that. So the final piece to the puzzle, I'm bringing this in. A lot of people will have moved the knight by now as well. I still think at any given time, if they take the knight, they're not having a good time, are they? Not having a good time in the slightest. Not having a good time in the slightest. So yeah, the knight is not being captured. Mate in 3. Oh, do we all see the pattern? Yeah, as we were discussing earlier, you need to be aware of this pattern. So don't check with the queen. The queen's doing a great job, a wonderful job here. You've got to check first, force a tempi, so you discovered check. Boom! Covers everything. Look at that. Use all the light squares. Use them to your advantage. Use your minor piece to deliver the first check. Wonderful sequence. So try and think like this if you can. Now it's a big threat, and now I'm still stopping. If that pawn comes while I take back, the king can't run away in that next move because my queen's creating the umbrella, isn't she? Umbrella. Now, I believe I go from completely winning here to ever so slightly wrong. Yeah, a much better move I think was rook takes, is what it wanted, yeah. So momentary lapse, and I played pawn takes, thinking that was a better move, and it's not because of queen f6. Rook takes here, and I found plenty of tactics so far, but rook takes here is a lot stronger, And what can black do? Queen d4 it wants. Did it just say queen d4? Queen takes g5. Yeah, queen d4 is a computer committing suicide because it knows how bad this position is. Was it just? It can't find a good move. Mate in 25, mate in 7. My stockfish is clearly broke, it doesn't work, but it just knows that this position's winning for white. Alright? So, the attack. The Russian game. It's not a reverse Stafford Gambit or anything like that. You're always a tempi up, but the beauties and joys of that position from the black pieces are amplified with the white pieces if you get what you want. Now, remember this position, yeah? And in plenty of games, that bishop will be there by now, and black will go that